What's going on, guys? Ben here, Player.net, and today we're taking a look at the Cooltek W2 Compact ATX case. Now, this is powered by Jonesbow, so that's quite nice. It's a little thing with Jonesbow and Cooltek. They work together and they make some nice cases. Now, as you can see here on the front of the box, we of course have a little bit of branding, which is to be expected, and then there's a very vague outline of the case itself, which doesn't tell us a whole lot about it. It just gives us a kind of a square with some feet on it to see. You know, so that's always, it's a bit intriguing. Personally makes me want to know a bit more about it because the design does look nice. Just do this real quick. Moving on to the side of the box, we of course have feature specifications in Dutch, English, and French. And then down here we also know if we have the standard version or the windowed version, and they come in either black or we have the silver window version. Moving around on the back of the box, and this is where things start to get real interesting. We now have a full diagram of the case, the W2 itself, but what they've done is they've gone ahead and they've pretty much torn it apart and given us a diagram of each individual component that this case is made up of. So we of course have our optical disc rack here. There's an SSD rack somewhere, dust filter, fans, left side plate, and all that stuff, fan, iron mesh, PCI cover. So as you can see, you can get a real feel of what this case has to offer. And it's also a nice touch because it'll be good for people that like to mod cases and customize things, and especially like water cooling loops, because you'll know exactly, you can look at the box and your mind will just start going and you'll know exactly what you can and what you want to do with this case. Now, I think this is the same as, yep, this side is also the same as the other side. Again, just our feature specification list, 3 different languages, and the color, and if we have a windowed version or not. I'm going to go ahead, open the box up, get the case out, and we're going to take a closer look at it. Alright, so here's the Cooltek W2 in all of its glory. Starting off with the front, as you can see, it's got that nice silver aluminum feel. It goes all the way around the case, but we'll take a look at that later. Just real quick, of course, inside the box are our user's manual, and there's also a magnetic fan dust filter as well in the bag. And then we have here, there's another little box that of course has some zip ties and screws, a post speaker for those of you that still use those, and a few other little things. Taking a bit better look, as we can see, it's really it's real nice. Like, I'm actually quite surprised how well this is, how well it looks, pardon me. Starting off with the front, you'll notice automatic, first thing, there is no real place for like a disk drive or anything, which is fine with me. As time goes on, people are using disk drives less and less. I haven't used one in years myself, so. But anyways, the front, as you can see, it just lifts off very easily. And it goes ahead and reveals our 2 fans that come as standard on the front. We of course have some ventilation with some screw mounting holes and stuff, so we could probably mount a few things in there depending on what we need. And this is pretty much just stuck on by, there's a couple little balls and, well, you call them what you like, really, I don't know. And then of course they just pop right into there. I think this is a nice touch, as a lot of times I always get worried taking the front panel off, because some of them proper plastic connectors that most cases use are a little worrying, if you ask me. Sometimes they just seem like you might break them if you pull too hard, but at the same time you have to pull hard. So moving around to the back side, as you can see, we kind of have our little front I/O panel here. We've got our power, our reset, and then of course our headphone and mic jacks here. There's 2 USB 3.0 ports, which is great. Those are always nice to have on the front of the case. You'll notice the vented cutout here. That's going to be for our PSU. And again, what I like about this case is there's no thumb screws to get the side panels and stuff off. You literally just lift them off, and then it reveals the case itself. As you can see here, again, we have our front I/O panel right here, the actual part of it. We of course have some space here for some SSDs. We have all our cables here that are connected up that are gonna allow for our fans and whatnot, so we can go ahead and get them powered up, pardon me. It's probably a bit hard to see here, but if you take a look, there are a couple rubber feet in here to set our power supply onto to help with vibration and all of that type of stuff. And there is also a bit of padding here at the back to again help with the vibration, make sure things are tight, and try to keep noise to a minimum, especially where this case is all aluminum. Vibrations will cause a bit of an annoying noise when they occur. Now, there's also a point here which is quite nice, is this is actually our optical disk drive bay, and your optical drives would actually come out the back. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. That's quite nice. It also looks like you could probably mount a 3.5-inch hard drive or something else similar here if you wanted. Again, as mentioned, SSD mounts are right here. And as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3 things to get, 3 cutouts with rubber grommets for cable management, and there are a few clips inside here, so we can go ahead and tie the zip ties up and make sure everything is looking nice and neat. Let's just pop, well actually, you know what, we'll leave that off for now. We'll move around to the back, yeah? Here we have it. The back, as mentioned, we of course have our space and our blanking plate for an optical disk drive. We have a switch here for the fan controls. We got, it looks like LSH, low, silent, high, maybe low, standard, high, at a guess. One of the things I like here is we actually have 8 expansion slots for PCI cards and any type of expansion card that you may need. A lot of motherboards, pardon me, yeah, a lot of cases these days only come with 7, but Cooltek and Jonesbow have decided to hook us up with 8, so that's great. That's, you know, the more options, the better. We of course again can see another fan included at the back, so that makes a total of 3 fans in the case. We also have our 2 cutouts here for water cooling tubes and all of that fun stuff. Make sure we can get the best cooling in there as possible if we need to route some tubes outside for whatever reason. And then, as you can see here, this nice big hole is, of course, our cutout for the back panel on the motherboard. So that'll go ahead, you get your little I/O shield in there, pop the motherboard out, boom, you're good to go. I would personally just like to touch on the optical drive again. I don't put one in my case because I don't really like the look of it, and I have children and they like to come and hit buttons. It's got a button and it normally lights up. Kids love that. If I had a case before with one on the back, it could be handy to stick a Blu-ray drive back there, a Blu-ray burner or something. So that's definitely a nice touch. Kudo to Jonesbow and Cooltek. I'll give you a few extra points for that when the review comes around. Now on to the windowed side. This is of course the side that's going to be on display. And for those of you that didn't notice, or might not have put 2 and 2 together, though I'm sure most of you have by now, this is a 2-compartment case. As you can see here, we have the motherboard tray, and that's pretty much all that's going to be in here is the motherboard and the graphics card. The power supply and the hard drives and SSDs are all going to be on the back side as to not cause an eyesore. This case is really meant to be on show, to have all your components on show. And while personally I love having my power supply on show, at the same time it'll also be nice to have it in the back because it just makes it that much easier to hide the cables. There's no need to put the power supply here, then route the cables in the back, then back out the front. Power supply starts in the back, boom, route the cables out the front, connect all your stuff up, and you're good to go. As you can see here, there are some pre-installed motherboard mounts here, and there are a few other holes in here which are probably a bit hard to see. So if you need to move them around a bit, you can, that's fine. We of course also have, which would be a little bit of a pain to use depending on what we have installed in our optical disk drive. There's a nice cutout here for easy CPU cooler switching. If you want to go ahead, buy a new CPU cooler, new air cooler, or even an all-in-one cooler, it's easy to get to the back of the motherboard so you can swap the back plates out and get everything underway. Now that is pretty much it for this case. Now this was just pretty much a quick overview, first look at it. I'm going to go ahead and do a full review with a full write-up on it, so make sure to check player.net for that. Big thanks to Cooltek and Jonesbo for this amazingly designed case, sending it in to us here at Player for review. And yeah, I look forward to building in it. So please like, comment, subscribe, and check back for the review in the near future. Thank you.